Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech protected.
Well, here I am again. I think it's been almost a year. I think you saw me in last August. Today's program is going to be inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit. We're going to talk about a little bit about weed, but it's mostly about the politicians. We're going to try to root out some of their good shit, and we're going to exhale the bullshit. But I'm going to start off by telling you how I came about. Here's a photo of my parents years ago. It was Reis was my dad, and he was a big Democratic supporter and helped many governors get elected years ago. And our family took pride in Senator Kennedy, and actually Senator Kennedy years ago. And this photo came to Bellows Falls. I think it was in 1957. And Senator Kennedy came up to our house on Grizzle Drive and signed the guest book. So it's kind of special that I do this show, not only for my parents, but also for John F. Kennedy, because a lot of the things that he wanted to accomplish in his lifetime actually never really got done or aren't really being practiced today. So anyways, as I start the show, I'm Paul Francis Reis and lived in the community 58 years. My dad was Jackie Reis. He died in 1976. He was a contender for a world welterweight title fight years ago, but his life was cut short with illness and died at 56. So, like you said, that was 56. So I think it was like 46 years ago, and my dad and my mom died 4 years ago in 2018. So basically at 12 years old, I lost a dad and learned how to survive. I wasn't too good in school, but we're going to get the program started, and I'm going to try to school you guys on common sense, not just education. And the first thing I'm going to show you is called Be Prepared to be Schooled. And when I say be prepared to be schooled, that is to everybody that's running for public office. You've all received, like you said, hundreds of brochures from every candidate running for local, state, federal government, every issue. But I don't believe they know sometimes the heartbeat of the true Vermonter. Well, we're going to start the program. Remember I showed you these years ago? They're all out there greeting, waving to you. So excited. Well, now I'm going to start the education process. I finally looked at my report card from over 40 years ago, and I had to kind of laugh. Most of you spend 12 years in public education. I actually spent 13. I flunked kindergarten. Like you said, I did get an A for mopping a local grocery store's floors in high school. But I cost you a lot of money. Roughly $20,000 a year times 12 years. It was $240,000. And what I found in my life, a lot of things really don't matter. It's treating people good. And I found this little thing at a local store about politicians, and I believe it really is kind of true. It says politicians are like diapers. They should be changed on a regular basis. And I had to get that because it's a lot of truth. I don't believe politicians should be there for their whole career or 35 years. So as we start this program, I kind of going to make it a little bit funny. You've all heard these politicians out there talking, blah, 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 save the environment, electric cars, stop drugs, stop guns. Well, this is the way I see it. We're going to take this little measuring tape, and I'm okay when a little of that bullshit's about up to here. But some of this bullshit they're feeding you is, by God, let me pick this up, is getting a little too deep. It's starting to go over my head. So we need to educate some of these politicians. One of the first things I got, which I don't have algebra, trigonometry, geometry, I don't know. I got a simple 99-cent calculator. And what's important to me as a Vermonter is, what's the price of eggs? What's the price of a newspaper? What's the price of fuel oil? At one time, it was $16.16 a gallon. That ain't good. Well, they have this thing in Vermont. They're working on urine fertilizer. Urine fertilizer to help grow vegetables. I guess you want to eat vegetables, maybe grow in some urine, but I actually don't. But I found this urine stuff also cuts through 100% of politicians' bullshit. But don't panic, because it's organic. On the next issue we're going to talk about is drugs. Oh my God, what a big drug problem. And it's how you market it. And everyone's being paid off. You can see this little bit of booze. I'm actually probably not an alcoholic, occasional drinker. So I guess I do have a little drinking problem from time to time. So I have to be very careful with these drugs here, because actually I almost died. And I'm going to tell you about this other little drug. This is called little marijuana, and the government basically fed you. You inhaled, I say inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit. The bullshit is the federal government, law enforcement, it fed you a bunch of bullshit about this stuff called weed. All right? I started smoking weed here a year ago, and it actually has been the best thing to help me. I smoke the type that's called indica. Helps me to sleep and chill out and relax. The other one, I believe it's sativa, but there's good in that too. It has helped nursing home patients in Israel to increase their appetite and eat. And it's proven to actually help and maybe help with cancers and stop cancer in laboratory rats. So there's a lot of good in it. But you can't market this product in a newspaper. Alcohol, I picked up this paper Saturday, and there must be 10 advertisements on alcohol. Alcohol's the worst drug. I actually almost died for alcohol 8 years ago. But it all comes down to who takes the money. Are the politicians for it or against it? So that's on that issue. Now, we're going to have winners, we're going to have losers coming up at this next election. For the winners, take the Kleenex, celebrate. For the losers, I guess you cry. Well, one of the shortest little lessons I learned in life is life goes by very, very fast. Just as fast as I flash this light before you, on, off. It goes by. This was a picture of me when I was a nice looking guy. Probably, like you said, at 40 or so. And I realized I took some ashes, the kids laugh, out of my wood stove right here, and I put my picture on it, and I set it by the television. And they says, why do you do that, Dad? It reminds me how quick life goes by. This is me today. This could be me this afternoon or tomorrow. Life goes by. I plant this little zinnia seed each year, and I grow the most beautiful zinnias. And now it looks dead to you, but I'll save these seeds, and they resurrect in the summer, and I have the most beautiful zinnias. So learn to appreciate the little things in life, my friend. When I talked to a lawyer years ago, he says, Paul, when I first started law, we had about this much law books. Now I got shelves and shelves of law books. He says, up in Montpelier, he says, Paul, every time they make a new law, they need to get rid of 10. And I reflected on that, and he told me laws are actually meant to be broken, and I had to think about that one. And so at the end of the day, I'm saying you got laws wherever you go. You got military laws, you got church laws, you got government laws. And at the end of the day, what I found out in my life you can't obey every law. I mean, smokers, 90,000 Vermonters broke this law before it became legal. So what I'm trying to say in life is I don't even go by any of the laws. I go by some, but some of it is bullshit. This is a holy Bible. I don't read the whole Bible. I've never even read a few things. But I honestly believe in the 10 Commandments, that actually if you're good to people, treat them with respect, about peace, love, justice, social justice for all, take social responsibility, and apologize. It's important. This next little prop is actually a little bug zapper light. And once again, life is going good. If you're a bug and you touch it, oh my God, it actually zaps you very quickly and your life can change. So I live life each and every day to its fullest because it can go by very, very fast. Now, I'm very confused on this next issue because in the state of Vermont, in 2014, right out of the paper, they claim there is $2 million worth of drugs coming into Vermont each week. Oh my God, something's wrong with this one. We should be able to figure this one out pretty quick. $2 million. I've lived there my whole life. You put 2 to 2 together, you usually get 4, okay? Well, what I found, they're blaming this newest drug. They say right here, okay, yeah, this fentanyl, colored fentanyl. It's coming from the Mexican border. It's coming from China. Jeez, I don't know, but that's what they're telling me. Well, I'll tell you what, this country is so messed up right now because I went to a local store. Look at this American flag. Don't blame everyone else. Blame ourselves. American flag, you imagine that? Says made in China. I got this out of Kansas City, where I give money sometimes to help the American disabled vets. I only got so much money to help them, okay? And I'm not sending them no more money. I opened up the gloves. This came from the American vet thing from Kansas, made in China. How stupid have we become in this country? Start voting with your money. You wonder why your oil prices are up. Well, no oil company's going to reward Joe Biden or any candidate when you're trying to put them out of business. State of Vermont don't even want you to be able to install an oil-fired furnace down the road. They want everyone and their brother to have a $70,000 electric car. This is a bunch of bullshit that ain't going to fly in the United States, my friends. And it'll probably cost some people the election and everything else. What I've learned here in Vermont is from reading my Psychology Today magazine. And what I've learned is don't swallow Vermont's bullshit seed. They plant the seed and somehow it grows and people believe all the bullshit. And I believe some of the bullshit, you may not like it, but has started right in Waterbury, Vermont, was where you could get the bullshit seed. Here's another one. We're going to talk about the life issues little by little. I'm not going to tell you which way to vote, which way not to vote. But all I'm going to say, when you bake a pie, bake anything in the oven, you want to take something out of the oven halfway through, maybe throw it across your kitchen. When it talks about spiritual stuff, I honestly would say I haven't had an awakening years ago. I had little ducks. And I would eat the eggs every day. I let them sit for 28 days and they hatch. And a beautiful little miracle came out. Beautiful little ducklings that really helped me in my life. So I honestly believe it's your choice, but yet I really like to respect life for everything, every living creature. Here's another one that maybe you're not going to like. It's going to upset some people. Here they send catalogs about guns, how you can get 2 million volts out of this thing to electrocute someone and shock them, taser them. On the other side, you can take a baseball bat with barbed wire and injure someone. This stuff they mail to your house. Why? I have no intentions to hurt people. It's about love, peace, justice, and justice for all. Law enforcement might not like this. Pick this up. It says heroes, guns and cuffs. Well, let me tell you, 99% of law enforcement, which I have friends, relatives that have been in law enforcement are great, great people. No law enforcement officer needs to be threatened. No law officer needs to be executed. And you try to follow the law the best you can, okay? If you have disagreements, do a good show like I'm doing, and you don't go out and act out on your actions. But law enforcement needs to be accountable also for the small percentage that actually should take the handcuffs and put them on themselves. I've investigated law enforcement for 42 years, and I'm actually quite shocked what I have heard and have found out personally and witnessed in the course of my life. And I mailed Governor Phil Scott a letter with my concerns. Maybe it gets swept under the table. Maybe DCF swept it under the table. But law enforcement officers, you may not like it, have bought my friends alcohol when they were younger, okay? Officers have had sex in the cruisers, okay? They have cut deals with drug dealers. They have actually taken drugs off of the street, handed them to friends to resell on the streets. So if you guys, the 3%, 2%, think you're fooling people, you ain't fooling Mr. Reis for over 42 years, and I can prove it. I remember even hearing the story growing up here when the police chief and his son actually were the ones that robbed a safe. So, like I said, if we want to push buttons, you want me to take a polygraph test, I'll tell you the truth and tell the young kids the way it truly happens. My kids actually stay away from law enforcement because a lot of them do abuse their authority. All right, now we're going to get ready to wrap up the program with my last little issues. We've had a senator, United States senator, that sat in office for almost 35 years, Bernie Sanders. Me and Bernie became kind of friends years ago. I think it was around 1987. I worked for Wickham Construction, probably 87 hours a week, and I told him how hard it was. And that was 1 week, my friends, 87 hours. And I think my take home here without the glasses was $535, okay? What'd it get me? What'd it get me? Gave me disability. I got 100% disability, back, disc, or all shot. Was it caused by that? Who knows? But I'm just saying, Bernie, you were going to stick up for the worker. You were concerned, Bernie Sanders, that after 35 years that we have 10,000 home shortages in Vermont. We need 10,000 new homes. You've been there 35 years, Bernie, okay? The bottom line is, when you've been there that long, it's time to step down. So I'm actually going to ask Bernie Sanders, United States Senator, step down, Bernie. Don't run for president. I sent you a letter, Bernie, in closing here, in 2016 to help Vermonters. You're on the United States Labor Board. And the issue back then was about getting justice for all. Nancy Pelosi's husband, that is terrible what happened to him, happened to DCF worker in Vermont, shot. Any politician should not be threatened. Any person in a workplace should not be threatened. But I'm going to tell you what, Bernie, I reached out to you, not just for protection for myself and my human rights, my civil rights, my workers' rights, not just for me, but for 5 other citizens in the state of Vermont. And you didn't help me. So why should I vote for you? Why should I vote for some of these politicians? You endorsed Becca. She apologized to me. She apologized to me for being assaulted with a board on a job. You imagine that? A United States Senator candidate apologized. I made these shirts up for all of you guys. Nobody even called me. And I call it Vermont's Phony Baloney. Justice Remix. A little fairy tale, a little horseshit. And on the back it says once again, Ben and Jerry's assaulted workers with a board. No peace, no love, no social justice. Call Paul Reis. So I'm saying to you politicians, you want justice? You want a safe and work environment? I'm entitled. I'm a United States citizen. Myself and 5 co-workers are entitled to some type of justice. And if you can't give us justice or relief, you deserve to give us a public apology for not standing up for us. This little money market gimmick, it says Justice Remix, was Ben and Jerry's good little flavor. It says justice for all, not some. Well, that's another bullshit story from Vermont. So we go all the way back over here with John F. Kennedy. Remember as president? You can write the Boston Kennedy Center. We're supposed to have all these rights and stuff for workers in this country. Well, unfortunately, I've gone every level through the state and federal government, and basically, you ain't got no right. If you got the money, if you got the power, you spell your name right, you get representation. Every law firm told me, Paul, if you ain't got the money for the big attorneys, you ain't gonna get no help because the big fish swallows the little fish. And the way I see it, just like the Monopoly game, politicians and the rich criminals that are dealing drugs, the police departments that have the mob working with them, get this called get out of free card, just like Monopoly. And somehow it's not equal justice for all. But anyways, I'm wrapping the program up. Thank you very much. Welcome to call me, and we'll discuss anything. Thank you very much.